Dennis, I want to go to you first. Comfortable 2-0 win, not the most entertaining of games, but break it down for us.
I think job done more than anything. Job done. It's one of those games, right, where squad was rotated. Just get the 3 points and move on. We've got a very busy April. A lot of games coming thick and fast. I think 8 games in April alone, and that doesn't even count if we get through to the next round, the Champions League after, which I think it starts in April. So for me, good to get some squad rotation as well, because you never know. Like, players might turn up in big moments. God forbid we get an injury. So it's always good to keep the match sharpness. So it's good to see players like Smith Rowe, especially Partey as well, because I think he's got a big part to play for the rest of the season if he stays fit. Nice to see him get some minutes. Ergod as well, always running around, man. Like, this guy always presses from minute 1 to minute 90. I think he needed a good performance as well, because there's a lot of question marks in his shoulders after Man City game, where he was a little bit, and I agree actually a little bit, I think he was missing his sharpness in attack, and that not necessarily cost us winning the game. I don't think we created enough chances to win it, but I think he needed a real good bounce back today and got a good performance out of him as well, and good rotation overall. So I'm delighted with how it went. Got our 3 points. Clean sheet as well is always important, because if you can't score a lot of goals, make sure you don't concede. And moving forward now, so hopefully another win to carry on Saturday. I'm just delighted overall.
Yeah, look, absolutely. I did think Odegaard had that good game. Obviously, as you say, not the most entertaining. But how impressed were you with the game management tonight? We've seen City do this so impeccably well in recent years, where they're in a title race, they're in the Champions League, you go 2-0 up, but then essentially you just sort of smother the rest of the game to waste no energy.
Yeah, 100% agree with you right there, because I feel like last season we were playing every single game at 5th gear from minute 1 to minute 90. But this season, I feel like we've got a much more game management side to us, where we're controlling games. We're at 2-0 up. We didn't necessarily hit the gas pedal for the 3rd goal. We just kind of eased it out, focused on our defensive side of the game, and we come out with a 2-0 win. And the second half, let's be honest, it was a training game. It was boring, but job done. No one's overexcited in terms of energy, and it means that, for the most part, players are fit, players are fresh, because that's more than anything so important. I know you spoke earlier about how the squad is very important. Arsenal as a team have had the least amount of injuries, I want to say, out of all the big teams in terms of Man City, Liverpool, of course, like United, Chelsea have stacked up the injuries, etc. Because we haven't exerted a lot of energy in our games. When I watch Liverpool play, I feel like the players are running like 90 minutes because they're chasing the game sometimes to hold on with seconds to go or to find the last minute winner. With us, I feel like this season especially, we've been much more controlled in our performances, and that comes from the defensive side. Your defense is your bedrock. If your defense is solid, then you build the attack going forward. But as long as your defense is good, that's where the bedrock is. That's the starting point. And I feel like we've been really good this season from that side. And I trust us defensively more than anything. So I know if we get 2-3 goals, we can ride it out to the end of the game. And I'm not worried about us conceding a silly goal.
Absolutely. Yeah. Matt, how did you feel about it tonight?
Yeah, no, I feel that the first half, was very good. I was very impressed with Smith Rowe. His pressing for that first goal, just really impressed me, to be honest, because, he hasn't really had the opportunities to shine this season. And that pass to Kai Havertz, who then passed it to Odegaard, he literally sliced the ball like as a cool finish. Yeah, it was very composed. And then for the second goal, we got a bit of luck with that own goal. And then in the second half, like, it was kind of just like a training game, like why football said, really.
Absolutely. And Saad, I mean, what was your thoughts on the game? A lot of rivals calling it out as a sort of negative, a lot of rivals calling it out as boring. Is that how you saw it as an Arsenal fan?
Listen, I'm always going to have emotions, so Arsenal games are not really going to be boring to me, because there's always a sense of I want to get more goals. You know what I mean? I'm investing in it, but maybe for rivals it was boring, but for me there's always emotion. I did want to say one thing. For me, not that I'm just trying to nitpick on the small things, but I don't know if you guys realized, every time Reiss Nelson on the attack, he slowed the attacks down every single time. And I'm like, if we're bringing you on, and if we're getting you to play these games, and we're getting you to play these games in the moments that we need you, I can't have you slowing down the attack. Every time he's slowing down the attack, he's trying to pass to the side, he's trying to pass backwards. I'm like, bro, I need you, as soon as you get the ball, you have pace. I know you have pace. So move forward and carry the ball with you. Do you know what I mean? And other than that, to be honest, it was a good game from us. It was very controlled. And yeah, we just kind of drifted through the game after the second goal was scored. It was just, you know, a team that's in a title race. That's the kind of performance you see. You've seen them from City, you've seen them from Liverpool, you've seen them from Man United of old. You know what I mean? You saw them of Arsenal of old when we were in the when we were winning titles. Like these are just, sometimes you have to have these performances, and where you score 2 goals. I don't want them to lose that hunger though. I know we can't fully go every single game like 10 out of 10, like literally using up all of our energy, but just don't lose that hunger. I still want you to go for goals, but don't get too relaxed in games, because you need to keep on pushing, because City out of nowhere can do something like this: 4-1, 5-1, 6-1. They could do it in like a 3-game stretch, and then all of a sudden they're racking up that goal difference, and all of a sudden they're not far behind us. So we definitely need to keep a little jump on our goal difference, just to, because it really could come down to that at the end for me.
So I kind of thought of this game as like, but for the fringe players, as in like, you know, show us what you can do basically, because, you know, some have been complaining about the game time that they have received. So it was kind of like, you know, show us what you can do really. And I thought Smith Rowe, you know, grabbed that opportunity with both hands. You know, he played really well in that first half, and then obviously in the second half it was kind of like a training game. But I feel like Reiss Nelson just didn't see that from him. Like I didn't see that. Like he wanted to be here next season. With Smith Rowe, I saw that.
I don't think, but I think that's just. I say it bluntly, Matt. Reiss Nelson just is not that good. He's a good squad player, but I think what you saw from Reiss Nelson tonight was Reiss Nelson's level. He's an okay player, but I don't think you're going to see much.
It wasn't even a good Luton team though, and he's not that bad.
I understand that, but I think you're labouring under an illusion that Reiss Nelson's that good. It's his first time.
I probably am as well.
It's the first time in 4 years he started a Premier League game. That should tell you all you need to know.
4 years.
Yes. First, well, that's what the commentator said. I'm going by the commentator stat. They're normally right on those things. And if your manager ain't starting him for 4 years in the Prem, maybe it was at home. As opposed to away. I'm not, but that tells you that he's not even he ain't a first team squad player. He is a fringe player. You guys can get so much better than him in the transfer market in the summer. I wouldn't even be worried about it personally. I don't know what you think, Nathan, on that, but I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just don't think it's something to stress about.
Yeah, I mean, I've never looked at Reiss Nelson as being anything as somebody who we can maybe make money off in the future. That's for me. He's not a player that has the quality or the ability to excel at Arsenal or to push Bukayo Saka, even Martinelli on the left-hand side. So for me, you know, even the likes of Trossard, I'm not going to lie, I feel the same way about Trossard. I don't think he's a player who's able to hold the width, to be able to stretch teams, to, you know, be direct, be his player one-on-one. He struggles, and that's it. For me, he's a player that comes good when he's closer to the opposition box. And they both have their limitations. But again, for me, in this game, it's all about the 3 points. I think Dennis alluded to it. We have a game every 3 or 4 days, all the way up until the end of April. And if we were successful against Bayern Munich, it will continue into May. So with that being said, we need to, you know, chop and change. We need to chop and change, bring players in, and we're going to need the squad to contribute. And the likes of Partey and Zinchenko have been injured for majority parts of the season. It's good to have them back, getting some minutes in. I didn't think Zinchenko was particularly great, but again, it's just the minutes. Partey looked, you know, good on the ball. Physically looked a bit off it, but that's to be expected. And Smith Rowe came in, made an impression, right? Assist for the goal, had a contribution for the first goal as well. So all in all, I mean, when you kind of sit back and look at it, it was a very professional performance whilst also being in cruise control. We didn't exert too much energy. We kept the ball. We just did what's necessary. Like, we didn't push the pace to try and get more goals. And when you've got that amount of games up and coming, then you kind of kind of respect it, because that's something you'd expect from a mature side, from a City side at times, where if the game's won, they don't need to they don't need to overkill, because there's no need. They're thinking about the race, the marathon, and how to kind of navigate that. So for me, you know, although the game itself wasn't nothing special, it wasn't the most enjoyable game. For me, it was a professional performance and 3 points in one game down. So
can I just say off the back of the
that's my thoughts on the game. To be fair with you, and I'm quite happy with the 3 points. And we've got a big game against Brighton on Saturday, which is a tough place to go. The Amex is notoriously a tough game for all the big teams. So all in all, I think being able to kind of drop the likes of Reiss, give Partey 10 minutes, Martinelli had a breather as well, and kind of integrate some plays was good with that game and buying on the fringes.
Can I just say off the back of the Reiss Nelson point? I think we've been a little bit unfair to Reiss, man, like the slander, because the guy hasn't had a lot of minutes for Arsenal this season. He's come in. I agree. I don't think he was great. But I don't think anyone in the Arsenal team today was really amazing. I think it was just a professional game. I agree he probably should have been a little bit more direct when he got the ball. But that's also Arteta telling him what to do. Like, I think Arteta prefers if his wingers are a bit more safe. Like, how many times do we see Saka get the ball on the right-hand side? And his first thought is pass it inside to Ødegaard or pass it back to Ben White. So I don't think, look, I agree that I don't think Reiss Nelson is ever going to reach the stage where he's a starter for Arsenal or going to help us to go on to win a Premier League, for example. But I think it's a little bit unfair to potentially slander him out or single him out for this game, because I don't think he was bad by any means. And look, his run into the box for the second goal, yeah, it might not be his goal because it's an own goal, but he made that run into the area and got us that goal at the end of the day. So look, I think Reiss Nelson, the times I've seen him play, I think he does always give effort when he plays. I'm always gonna have a place in my heart for him after that goal against Bournemouth that I thought was going to enable us to go on to win the league. So yeah, I think it's a little bit unfair to single out Reiss for this particular game, because he hasn't had a lot of minutes. And whenever he comes off the bench, he always puts in a shift, man. And normally it is only 10, 20 minutes, if that.
Yeah, I hear you on that.